So I recently made a video titled The Key to Self-Improvement, and in that video I showed a short cinematic montage of a typical day in my life, what that looks like, how I go about structuring my day, and how I go about living. And then at the end I had a short message which went along the lines of,
We live in an age where it can be overwhelming to try to figure out how to spend our time with so many people telling us how we're supposed to live and what you should be doing to improve yourself. But in reality, you know yourself best, and the more you eliminate unnecessary distractions, the more clear your vision will be. The key to self-improvement is simply to simplify your life.
I wanted to leave it kind of vague like that. I did it just because I wanted people to think for themselves as opposed to all these other YouTubers making content that's a lot more directed, like 5 ways to unfuck your life and do these 5 things if you want to get to the next level. And there's so many videos on what you should be doing, but what I wanted to drive home is that we're all different, and what works for someone else might not work for you. And we all have our own goals and our own vision and what we're trying to improve. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about here is the problem with over consuming self improvement content and, simplifying that aspect of it. And just what I've done is I've solidified like one or two things that I know that I need to focus on, and I've shaped everything else around that, as opposed to over consuming and then being overwhelmed with what I should be doing. Like, oh shit, I need to take cold showers, I need to meditate every day, I have to do no fap, like all of this shit, right? So, they're all beneficial things that you should be doing and that are going to help you reach your goals, but you need to isolate yourself and just figure out, do a deep dive into yourself and isolate like what's the biggest thing that I need to focus on right now. And then once you identify that, then you can shape everything else around it and just pick a few things that will supplement that and being able to help you reach your goal. So, the main thing for me, in my experience, I've been consuming self improvement content for like 5 years now, probably. And what I would do, which I'm sure a lot of other people do, is just over consume the content, just be in this cycle of watching video after video after video. And the next thing you know, like you haven't really made any progress after a year, 2 years. You've consumed all this content, you've gained all this knowledge, right? But you haven't implemented it into your life. And knowledge is only power if you actually use it and if you apply it, if you take action with it and implement it. But my main issue is I was never taking notes, I was never implementing it into my life. And, I had all of it stored, but it was stored as clutter and it wasn't actually being utilized. What I do now is if I ever watch a video that really speaks to me, if it really resonates with me, and I can extract something direct from it and apply it to my life, then I'll immediately just turn off YouTube, go into my notebook, and do exactly that. Because I would just be in that cycle of just wanting to continue to watch more and more, even if a video spoke to me, because I would feel like I would need more of a direct answer or like more of an indicator or something that will really get me off my ass and get to work. But like, no, if you have that feeling, then just stop watching content and put in action, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. All right, and the second thing that I've done to actually start to make improvements in my life and simplify my life within the process is removing distractions. And distractions can come in many different forms, as we all know, but I feel like there's some that are very similar across the board for most people, such as social media, video games, mindless entertainment, and a lot more. But the last couple of years, I found myself kind of drifting through life, allowing it to happen to me without taking control, taking ownership of what I'm doing, and just falling into these situations that like I don't actually want to be in, where I'm over consuming social media or I'm just not thinking for myself. I'm allowing other people's ideas to be implanted into my head instead of taking control and like identifying what I need to do with my life to reach the next level. And within doing so, removing distractions makes it more clear to know exactly what you should be doing, like what you need to focus on, and then the path that you need to take to reach that next level. So everything just becomes more clear. You feel more sharp. There's not as much clutter in your brain, as I alluded to earlier. You eventually become more present and everything just feels better, and you're just more in alignment and incongruence with like your core self and who you really are, because I feel like people just don't know who they are because they're always distracted and they're not spending any time doing self-reflection, doing introspection, and really studying themselves and like studying other things that help them reach their fullest potential to really bring it out of them and like harness your own power and your core self. Because everyone is just kind of floating through life and they're not even sure what they're doing. They're just falling into this category of like doing what's expected or what societal standard has set for them instead of their own standard and their own mission, their own values. So the more you just eliminate what you don't need in your life, and if it's not serving you, just take a step back from it. And I feel like I've been so distracted over the last couple of years because I haven't wanted to improve myself enough to really commit to it and to really focus on one or two goals and to really take my life to the next level, because I've just been kind of drifting, allowing myself to get pulled in all directions and not having that concrete foundation that I've needed for so long. But until you like want something bad enough, then if you try to make sacrifices, you might not last and you might end up going back to them if you don't have that desired outcome, if you don't want it bad enough, and if it isn't your driving force. So that's why it's important to identify like what you want to fix, what goals you have, and to not overwhelm yourself with like everything that you should be doing, but just, making measurable progress every single day, focusing on it, removing what you know that you need to, and then simplicity will come with that. And then you'll fall more in love with the process. It'll become your new pleasure to be immersed into the process, seeing yourself grow every single day, working on yourself, trying to maximize your potential, as opposed to the joy of giving in to short term pleasure, instant gratification, and that side of life. Because I've had that for so long now that I just feel so much more compelled to live a life with purpose and passion, because at the end of the day, that's long lasting joy that is going to take hard work and a lot of struggle. But knowing that you're making something of yourself, or at least trying, putting in that effort, outweighs the short term pleasure and satisfaction that you get from other activities that keep you in the same spot your entire life. So that's really what I wanted to drive home today. Like I said earlier, this is what's worked for me. Take it with a grain of salt. And, everyone is different, but we all should just be more aware of like what we really want to do in life. And it's easier to see that. It's a lot more clear if you simplify your life. And these ways for me might be different for you, but this is an example. But at the end of the day, all that matters is your ability to take action and to just start. So if you feel compelled to, after watching this video, turn off YouTube and go right into your notebook, or just do something that's going to actualize you making progress and finally making that change. Everyone's free to live the life that they want with their own philosophy, their own perspective. It's like not everyone has to live like this and has to be goal oriented and want to reach the highest version of themselves. It's not like that's a requirement. I think everyone should be on that path, but people are free to live however they want. But if you have that fire inside of you, and if you know that you're destined for more, and if you just have this uneasy feeling knowing that like you're not doing enough in your life and you want to be somebody, you want to do more, you want to impact the world in a unique way specific to you, then turn off YouTube and do what you know that you need to do, because time is running out. But with that, I'll leave you guys and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.